Welcome back to the Green Means Go channel. It's your host, me. Yesterday, George Springer, Cody Bellinger, Mark Vientos, Harrison Bader, Rob, Ref Snyder, Romy Gonzalez, and Freddie Freeman all hit home runs. I will be honest with you. I got greedy. For my FanDuel Dinger Tuesday boost, I did Springer, I did Freeman, and I thought, let me add a third leg. Horrible choice. I went Tyler Soderstrom because I had Oakland as green. Well, you know who else was green in that same game? Boston. And if I would have just picked any of those Boston guys, I would have won a good amount of dollar bills. But hey, that's what happens when you bet home runs. This made me laugh yesterday. Chris said, dude takes Sal Frelick every day but won't bet Giants Stadium. Fair. You know what, Chris? Fair. Stay tuned today. I have two picks from Giants Stadium. We'll start with the game in Texas. Christian Yelich, oh my gosh, man, settle down. I know you're excited, but have mercy. Christian Yelich and Jackson Chourio look good for Milwaukee. Jake Berger is the only one that I can find on Texas that looks moderately okay, but it's a red place for the Rangers overall. Game in Oakland, I will just say right now, green on LA down there is the only green spot we have today. 60 degrees across the country. No wind seems to be helping except in LA. I'm going to say this until the series is over. Just be careful. Game in Oakland or Sacramento, Yoshida, Duran, Colby Thomas, and Shea Langoliers. I'm also noticing that I think DraftKings changed their odds provider or is doing something bizarre with their odds. None of them are whole round numbers by ending in 5 or 0. Colby Thomas, that's not a typo. He is 526 on DraftKings. Not sure why they're doing that, but that's what I'm seeing today from DraftKings. I don't know. It's new. Game in San Francisco, here you go. Doesn't look good for the Diamondbacks, but I will tell you, I like Matt Chapman and I like Willy Adames today. So you guys got your wish. I'm still rating it overall as red, but I'm going to give you two selections from that game. Game in LA is the best weather game, but the pitching does scare me a little bit. So Zach Neto at 4-1 is about the only guy that I can maybe make an argument for. Joe Adell looks good, but again, he missed yesterday's game from vertigo again. So I'm going to just stay off of Joe Adell until we know that he is back to normal. I can't imagine having vertigo or even like a slight version of vertigo is good for trying to hit a 95 mile an hour pitch. Game in Baltimore, Spencer Horwitz and Jackson Holliday both look okay, but keep in mind, pitching is good. Park is bad. Overall, doesn't look like a great spot. Game in Cleveland, bullpen game for Kansas City. Hard to find a read on any of these Guardians. Bobby Witt Jr. and Salvador Perez would be my leans for Kansas City. Nearly every Kansas City bat looks good. The only thing that makes me nervous is the stadium isn't, let's put it positively, it's not as bad as it's been in the last few days, but it's not as good as it was a month ago. So temper your expectations. Game in Miami, one of the better places lately. Josh Bell continues to rake. I probably should just write him down, but we'll go with Luis Garcia and CJ Abrams. If you want to take Josh Bell, he also looked good again today, but I'm in this mode where I'm like, he's got to cool off. Like he's not going to keep doing this, so I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, Josh Bell, he's hot, let's ride him. No, we're not doing that nonsense. Hernandez and Marcy are very interesting, sneaky, tempting plays. I've talked about this before, but sometimes when I use Ballpark Pal, I notice guys who are well above their baseline in terms of matchup. And these two guys today are well above their baseline in terms of what you usually expect from them. So their matchup today against Jake Irvin is exceptional. Like Jake Irvin should be one of the best pitchers for them to face this year. I spit on my mic. Philly, Kyle, I guess. Nobody looks good for this game. Great pitching, bad park. But, you know Kyle Schwarber's going to do something. So, Kyle, we'll go with him. Game in New York looks great for New York. Any batter for them is good. I'm going to write down Cody Bellinger and Jazz Chisholm, but understand that if you have a Yankee in your slip, it's probably an okay bet. Spencer Torkelson for Detroit. Game in Toronto, Jeremy Pena, Yordan Alvarez, George Springer, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I like Pena at that number quite a bit, and I like really anybody for Houston today. Houston as the underdog is perplexing to me. I think if anything, it should be just dead even, 110 on both sides, but I like Houston to win the game. So if you don't like Houston to win the game, then I would say the over is the play. I see this game going one of two ways. Or I guess I'll just put it in the simplest terms. I think Houston scores 5 to 6 runs today. So I think that's either enough to win or enough for the over to hit. You can choose what you want to do. And if not doing anything is what you choose, that's totally fine. Game in Atlanta, Profar and Baldwin are my picks there. I would skip all Cubs players. They've got some injuries in their lineup, Michael Busch and Kyle Tucker both, and just besides the fact that they're kind of ice cold lately. Chicago looks like it's going to be a bullpen game for both teams. Wind is saying bet left-handed batters. I'm not going to write anybody down. Of course, Colson Montgomery is hot. Brooks Baldwin I looked at. Mike Talkman's a household favorite. Josh Lowe, Brandon Lau, both look fine, like just left-handed batters in that game, but I'm not going to write anything down. Game in San Diego, also left-handed batters, but the pitching looks good enough for me to pass. Elly De La Cruz. Can we talk about him for a second? Where has he been? What is he doing? Does he play the game anymore? Is he out there every day? I don't know what his home run number is, but I would imagine that Perdomo has more home runs than him this year. I would imagine you could take all MLB players and you could put them on a wheel and spin the wheel, and whoever it lands is probably going to have more home runs than Elly De La Cruz. Ridiculous. Game in Seattle looks good for Seattle. Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez are my leans. Rodriguez looks exceptionally good today. If you want to talk about above the baseline like we did for those Miami batters, then Julio Rodriguez meets that criteria as well. And then LA, Andy Pajes and Mookie Betts both look good, both 4-1 on FanDuel. So again, a little bit light today, a little bit slight today, but we'll keep it rolling here and hope that we can get some home runs before the season's over. This video is brought to you by SmartStake. If you want to do any plus EV or arbitrage betting, SmartStake is, how do you butcher an ad read? You hit the space bar, that's what you do. SmartStake is completely free, guys. It costs nothing to go on the site, check it out, and potentially find some ARBs, find some positive EVs, convert some sign-up promotions. And they just added a new fantasy, tool, which is like your Prize Picks, your Dabble, your Underdog, this kind of thing, all these kind of sites. I'm going to make a video about that this week, kind of breaking down how I would use this tool. But for now, we did hit our Mitchell Parker under 3.5 strikeouts yesterday for our positive EV ride of the day. Let's see what we got on the tap. A lot of home runs. Wilmer Flores, 2 RBIs. Okay, all right. Against the Diamondbacks, 700 on there. Yeah, wow. I think some of these other books just might be ripping you off. Home run, RBIs, Randall Grichuk, 2, Ryan O'Hearn, home run. I'm trying to find something not home run. We just talked about home runs for forever. Anthony Volpe, 2. I do like, I like the bases to be crowded for. I just can't do that. Brooks Lee, RBIs, Dylan Cruz. Can we sort by markets here? Let's go with Maine. Let's just go with Maine markets today. Let's see if we can find a Maine market for baseball. See if there's any out there. There may not be. Over 8 runs in Mets, Phillies. Under 7.5 Braves, Cubs. I kind of like this. I kind of like under 7.5 in Braves, Cubs. I don't think the Cubs do much today offensively. Pinnacle is at 115. Pinnacle agrees with here. Circa is a little bit more EV. Okay, we'll just do this. We'll say that this is it. But again, guys, completely free site. Check it out. And, take some ARBs. That's what I got for you today. Later on today, we will be doing our MLB picks. What are you saying? Focus. NFL spreads and totals coming to you today. I'm doing the Prize Picks fantasy breakdown from SmartStake soon. I'm going to go take a shower and get some more coffee, evidently. Holy smokes.